Hi, welcome to Route 66, our journey through the Bible. And hopefully, you're enjoying your reading. The good news about today's reading, we've only got two chapters, First Chronicles 9 and 10. We are pretty much through the names. There are some chapters that are going to have some names, but to be honest with you, as I read through the Bible year after year, First Chronicles 1 through 9 can be very tedious. And so chapter 9 still has some names, but in chapter 10, we get back to some stories. And we'll have some stories as we go along. So let me give you a little bit of a summary and some lessons from what you're going to be reading today. In chapter 9 is the return of the exiles and some of the temple servants. If you recall from our reading in 1st and 2nd Kings, the nation of Israel, Judah ended up going to Babylon. Cyrus wanted them to allowed them to come back, and so they came back and they rebuilt. We're going to find that out as we read Nehemiah and Ezra. We're going to find out what they did when they came back. But chapter 9 lists some of the names of the people that came back to Jerusalem to rebuild Jerusalem. It included the priests, the Levites, some of the gatekeepers, other of the temple servants. All these had a role in the worship of God and the order that was in the temple. And so it talked about their spiritual life. It would be, for us today, it would be like the people that serve at the church, the leaders in the church. And they came back so that the congregation could gather together and worship God. So they came back. Chapter 10 is where we get back to the stories. So he's kind of reverting back to the beginning of the kingdom when Saul became the king. It recounts the death of King Saul during a battle with the Philistines. And again, we're told that already in 1st and 2nd Samuel. He's wounded, falls on his sword, trying to kill himself, and he dies. And the chapter ends with Saul's death because he was unfaithful to the Lord. He didn't seek God's guidance. He sought a witch, a medium, and therefore the kingdom was given over to David. Some lessons from these two chapters. I think chapter 9, as it talks about the people coming back, which happened years later, people coming back, faithful service often happens behind the scenes. When you see a big production, you know that there's a lot more people behind the scenes that are getting it ready and taking care of it. In fact, my granddaughter was in a play, and they had some people that were in the back, and they all were black, and they kind of scooted around so that you wouldn't be able to see the people in the background. Faithful service in the background is so important. Every service to God matters and is a part of Him building His kingdom. It may not look big, but if you're serving God, it is big. So behind the scenes, bless those of you, many of you, that serve behind the scenes. And I think we all should be serving behind the scenes in some capacity so that others can shine. But chapter 10, it's a tragedy, but it shows us that a good start means little if we don't have a faithful end. Saul seemed to start out pretty good as a king, but his disobedience, his pride, his desire to succeed no matter what, his jealousy over David, it was just messed up. Good start, pretty much, but a terrible ending. For us, finish well. You're progressing in your Christian life. You're doing some of the things you ought to. Just realize this: it's not easy to continue on in the Christian life, but be good and faithful and continue and serve the Lord the best you can. Be faithful to Him and serve Him. God bless you as you read. It's a good read as we get back to the stories of how God was using and God was doing some